Hello, welcome to Jamie TV. Thank you for joining me once again. I see we've already got some people in the chat. Hello, Mateus, and hello, Gerald. Yes, wobbly bass tone DJ. Thanks for joining us, and thanks once again for the super chat. It's I don't know what to say. Thank you. Thanks very very much. Now. That was I'll let that play around. I'll let it loop round twice because I like to start the stream with a bit of music, especially if I'm kind of progressing a piece of music throughout a number of live streams. I like to play, where we've got to, and we've not got massively far. I mean, we've got what does that add up to? We've got I can't count. We've got 8 bars, so it's not a massive amount. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to start off by having some kind of like signature thing, like a signature arpeggio, and I wanted to get the chords down that fit with it because that was difficult to do because as it uses outside notes, then that makes it more difficult to fit chords to it. So I've got that down. And at the end of yesterday's stream, what I was doing was I was trying to find a bass sound. Now I wanted to use that bass sound that I really really like in what's it called? Is it Dark Atmospheres? The in-app purchase in BeatHawk, but it didn't quite evolve right. It sort of evolved too slowly, and of course it's the sample based thing in BeatHawk that you don't have a lot of control over the sound. So I had to choose something else. So I chose, I'm not saying it's necessarily definitely the final sound or anything, but I was having a pissy pants around last night with some sounds like I said I was going to do after I'd fed the family and played some Roblox games since as it was up and running again because I don't know if you know, but I know DJ knows. My little boy exploded yesterday because the servers were down at Roblox, and him and his mates were all on a FaceTime call, and so it was the end of the world, disaster. So it was up again last night, so I had to play some Roblox games. I was hoping to play Minecraft, but that didn't happen because I dig that. Let's have a look at Model D. Right, so I chose this sound, which is wobbly. And I think that wobble makes it kind of spooky. I'm not sure if it makes it a little bit too like old time spooky. Maybe that's a good thing. I'm not really sure. So let's just solo that so you can just hear that sound on its own because I chose that. It was one of the sounds I was pissy pantsing around with last night, and I had listened to it just before the stream, and I thought, I think that one. So it's not budge. There we are. you know what I mean? It's got that old school horror, maybe B movie or sci-fi B movie kind of quality to it. It's like a sound that would fit a soundtrack to Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which is one of my favourite films. You can just see Donald Sutherland doing the thing. Alright, okay, so I've got that. Now I've got some sounds for you to have a listen to, because, like I say, I was having a pissy pants around with sounds last night, and I checked out some of the things that you suggested. I think it was Gerald that suggested decent sampler for toy piano sounds. So that's the first thing that we're going to do today. I'm going to, because if you checked out any of my streams previously doing this kind of thing, you'll know that I tend to not worry too much about the actual sounds early on, and I focus more on, the melody and the chords and everything. But for this kind of like signature section, I feel like I want to get the sounds close, because I've got all these ideas about, well, maybe I could go entirely synth bass with this. Maybe I could do an entirely like 80s synth kind of a track. Maybe I should just use sounds from Sampletron. And because I've got all these ideas, that's kind of distracting me. So I'm thinking maybe if I settle on a few sounds for this section, then it will give me some focus for the rest of the track. And by the way, for the rest of the track, I've got no idea what I'm going to do at all. But we'll worry about that in a bit. So if I copy this toy piano track, House on Haunted Hill with Vincent Price, seriously cheesy B class. Yes, and I absolutely love all those films, right? And one of the saddest things in my life is that although me and my other half share a common interest in horror movies, she doesn't really like the old stuff. She doesn't really like, the ham horror and all that kind of stuff, which I do absolutely love. She's also not too bothered about sci-fi stuff, but occasionally she'll get into a sci-fi, and she loves the X-Files, which is one of my favorite things ever. And we're currently like rewatching the X-Files yet again. So it's good to have things in common, Anyway, that's got absolutely nothing to do with what we're doing. Let's go to this toy piano track and we will duplicate it. Now, Spelldoser is what I was thinking of, the toy piano. Well, let me show you what I've found. So I've duplicated the toy piano track so I can mute that one, and then I will go down here and actually we'll get rid of both of these things here, and let's add decent sampler. Who makes decent sampler? Oh, decidedly. Okay. That was a complete guess. Lucky guess. All right. That's a good sign. I'm going to take that as a good sign. Right. Decent sampler. It doesn't seem to be loading up. What's going on there? Oh. Right. Now, I just downloaded a couple of things. I mean, there's a lot of things you can download free in here, but I didn't have tons of time, so I didn't just go ahead and download all the free content that I could. What I did was I downloaded a few things, so let's sort of grab those one at a time, and we'll have a listen. When I say free things, I mean I don't mind paying for something, that's that's awesome. But obviously, this app's kind of new to me. Well, it's not new to me. What happened was, Decent Sampler, when it first appeared on iOS, I got a hold of it, and I had a bit of a pissy pants around with it, and then I've never really looked at it since. I'm nothing against it, no particular reason. Just there's a lot of apps. I've got a lot of apps, and it's one that had not really sort of crossed my path again. It was still on my iPad, but this time opening it up like last night, it looked completely different, I think, from last time I looked at it. Right, let's load in this Electric Bell toy piano. Let's see what that one's like. Wait for it. Of course, I've made the schoolboy error, haven't I? I duplicated the track and not the MIDI. If you're not familiar with Logic Pro for iPad, you can duplicate just the track and all the instruments and effects and everything that are on it. The color scheme, the label, everything, except for the MIDI. Or if you press this button to duplicate and hold it, you can duplicate with content, which of course I didn't do because I was busy waffling about nonsense as usual. So what I'll do is I will just select all this MIDI, which is immensely difficult to do with the mouse, so I'm going to stick my finger on that, and I will copy that down to there. Remember to switch off copy. Okay, now let's have a listen to it. I think I'll solo that. Okay. Okay, well, it's got kind of like an echo to it. I presume that if I just right, I'm just playing it with my controller keyboard here. Right, so if you hold down the note, it just repeats. So I don't think that's the sound that this is not the sound that we're looking for. What else did I download? There was a couple of other sounds that looked interesting. This user interface in Decent Sampler, when you're sort of looking through all the sounds, I found it very awkward to use. It's very awkward to scroll without accidentally clicking on something and having to look at the description and then having to back out of it. Bit of a pain in the ass. And also, when you select something like this, there's a little tiny window that comes up with a description of what's going on, and it's very difficult to get in there and scroll it slow enough so that you can read it. There's hardly any text in the window. It's very, very awkward. Duplicate with content is called the Jamie trick. No one knew about it before you accidentally pressed it. Yeah, I remember that. Hey, Grant, thanks for being here, man. We're just trying to find a sound. I've got a toy piano sound. We're just trying to find out if there's a better toy piano sound or alternate sound that might be better. So this one was interesting to me. I don't think this is going to be the right sound, but I just found it interesting. The old Soviet children's synth. Hey Josh, welcome to Jamie TV. You just keep your finger on it and open it in another tab. Yeah, okay, I'll try that in future. But that is an interesting sound. I think I could make something interesting with that sound, but I've kind of got this toy piano idea in my head, so I don't know. What do you guys think to that sound? Does it suck? Is it suckless? Is it the right thing? Is it not the right thing? There's this electronic piano kids toy thing here. Apologies. Which sounds apologies for the accidental massive amount of volume there. Sorry about that. Hope I didn't blow anyone's eardrums up. Oh, hey Jade, thanks for being here. This sounds better than I just wanted to show it you. I didn't actually expect it to sound good in the track. I think with a bit of work I could make that sound like something, right? So another one to just bear in mind, I think. But for you personally, Gerald, not the right sound. In that case, we shall ditch that one. That was for the Russian kids synth, was it? Yeah, okay. We'll bin that one off then. It just, if you dislike something, tell me. It makes things easy for me because I'm kind of, it's difficult to decide. I like everything. You thought I was on the internet page of Playbook. Oh, okay. So that doesn't apply then. All right. Okay. Well, no worries. I just, it's a cool app. It's got some cool sounds in it. It's got some pants sounds in it as well. I noticed last night. But but it's just I find that interface awkward. It's a bit of a fiddle, Right. I wondered about a kalimba. Right. I'm just putting it out there. You might think it's a wank idea. In which case, just put it's a wank idea in the chat. I don't care. Why don't I just start that from the beginning? You know what? I think with if I take the reverb off that's in that app and send that to an awesome app, maybe, I don't know, add a couple more effects to it. I'm not sure. I think that could work. I think that's an interesting one. But a kalimba, is that the vibe we're looking for? Pianos on Playbook are really, really good. I don't even know what Playbook is. Is that where Decent Sampler comes from? I am naive to this, so feel free to educate me in the chat. Right, so we'll just have another look in Decent Sampler. I didn't see any other kind of kids toy instrument kind of stuff. I don't think. Oh, there was that one. That one was interesting. And see, there I am again. Accidentally pressing on the wrong thing. It's a bit annoying. Reel-to-reel tape piano. right? Again, I kind of like that sound. It's got potential, but the tone is wound all the way up on that instrument already, and it's a dull sound. A dull sound, a dull sound could be usable. It could be the thing, but I'm thinking, this is just the start with the instrumentation on this bit. It might struggle to cut through. I don't know. So what I'm going to do here is bear in mind those sounds that you've been watching. Yeah, the Piff piano. It just looks fascinating, doesn't it? Right? So bear in mind the sounds that you've heard so far. And I'm going to switch Decent Sampler out for... what should we go with next? Okay. There's what was it? Yes, that was it. Okay. A couple of other things that I heard last night. One was in OBX1D, which I can't remember who makes it, so I'll have to go and search OBXD. I said it wrong, didn't I? I said Obi-Wan. A bit of a Star Wars moment, right? About a glockenspiel. Yeah, a Glock might do it. But bear in mind, I was also considering maybe going purely just like old synth sounds. So I just wanted to have a look at OBXD because they're going for about 180 quid. How old are they? How old an instrument is that, DJ? There was a couple of sounds in here that I thought might be the very thing. Not toy piano sounds, obviously, because it's an Oberheim, essentially. Now, it might have been that one. That might have been a thing. See, when I was thinking about maybe going entirely synth, that was the kind of lead I was thinking for that sound. Now, that takes us in a bit of a different direction, but I like that sound, that's a possibility. Maybe it's just a sound I should bear in mind and consider it, coming back to it for a future project. I just want to press this and play it while it's here. Because I love those Blade Runner type sounds. Might even end up in this track. We shall see. And now there was a couple of sounds in here that I really... I thought, I'll remember that. I'll remember what that's called. I'll remember the name of that. Yes, of course I will. And then I've slept. And, I'll find it in a minute. I will. There's a lot of sounds in here. It's not the best. I accidentally said breast. Apologies. It's not the best preset management thing, but it does have awesome sounds in it. No. It was on this side. I remember. It was on this side. No, I know what it was. It was this sound. And it wasn't for the piano sound. tell you what it was. It was just that I pressed this sound last night and I thought, that's awesome. I've got to use that in the track. Sorry, that's what it was. Joyce says, sorry, not feeling too well at the moment. I had to check to make sure I was talking rubbish. Yes, Playbook is an internet page where you get hundreds and hundreds of free sounds, not just pianos. All right, okay. OBXD is a bit low and needs to be played higher up the keyboard. Yes, I agree, Gerald. What I thought was, with that sound, it was a darker, it's kind of that sort of like squishy sort of synth kind of a sound. It's not got too much bite to it, which could suit, but it was too close in frequency to the model D sound that I'm using for bass. It would definitely need to be a higher octave. And would it then still work? Who knows? Who knows? Unless we try it, of course. Right, that's my sound. Let's try that. Right, let's just, let's piss pants around with this. I really want to get this section really well towards, like really sort of something like, so that it gives me some focus for the rest of the track. I'm going to join this MIDI up. And I'm going to go into the MIDI. And I'm going to select all. And then I'm going to transpose up an octave. And let's see what that's like. I'm going to go to my mixing desk and let's try and make a proper job of this. Yes, exactly. Farty filters, Batman. The Stranger Things territory. Yes, exactly, Mateus. I guess that's kind of the area of of sounds that I was thinking about, but trying to make something that sounds pretty terrifying with those sounds. Kind of a bit of a John Carpenter with a kick up the arse kind of a territory. You sold a Model D a few years back. Spent more time repairing it than using it. Yeah. I sometimes think I'd like to have more hardware, which I really don't need, because I have software for most things, right? But there's something about being able to put your hands on some hardware. And obviously I'm kind of limited for space in here, so there's no way I'm going to get an old Juno, which is something I'd absolutely love to have. But the little Roland boutique version might be a nice thing to have. Really don't need it. I've got Tal, But I think that in this little space here, I maybe would like to have a few more hardware things. I've got somewhere. I have got a Boss DR550 drum machine, which was on all my demos when I was, I don't know, about 18, 19, something like that. And I thought it sounded great. I don't know where it is. I found the DR5, but the 550. I thought A while ago, I was thinking that I'd maybe sold it, but I don't remember selling it, I don't think. I wish I could find that thing. Yeah, I'd just like to have it here on the desk, for no particular brilliant reason. I've got software that does far better drum sounds. I don't know. Also, another thing I had was the Yamaha QY20. Have you seen the QY series? They were like this big, about the size of smaller than a Nintendo Switch, but quite thick. And they were sequencers. They had tons of sounds in, and like a non-backlit screen, but you could sequence tons and tons of stuff with it. And I used that to sequence things before I went into the recording studio. So I'd kind of have all my arrangement for a track set out like that, and then I could like record that onto tape in the studio and then replace instruments as we went along. And some of those sounds actually stayed on some recordings, particularly drum sounds, actually. I wish I knew where that was. Anyway, right, because I've got a gap over here about this big. It could squeeze in there. I'm liking that sound. What do you guys think to that sound? Before we make a final decision, and of course, once we've made a final decision, it doesn't necessarily have to remain a final decision, but before we do make an unfinal decision, let's have a listen to one more sound, because another possibility I was considering was using a lot of sounds from Sampletron, which takes us into a different territory, not an 80s territory, an older territory. It's just getting the blend of sounds set up, I suppose. So, if I duplicate this track with content, right, there we go, mute that one off, then we'll go down to here, and we'll replace that with IK Multimedia's excellent Sampletron. There are some piano sounds in here which are kind of old and wobbly tape, dusty sounding, which might very well be the thing. You had a QY70. Yeah. I had the QY20. A few years later, a friend of mine got the 70. And I remember playing with that and thinking, how much more advanced it was than the 20. I've also had to play around with a QI10 that still works. That was fun. One thing that you can say for Yamaha, they do tend to make things to last. Right, so in here, let's just grab one of the piano-y type sounds. And then what I'll do, I'll let it play. I'll have a flick through a few piano sounds, and let's see if we hit on something that we'll like. Creepy haunted house piano. Right, okay, let me show you this. This is what I was thinking. So the creepy haunted house piano sounds like this. Now, a great sound, but listen to all that reverb. I used this when I demoed this. I used this in one of my videos, and I made this sound myself, which might be closer to what we'd need for this kind of arpeggio. Creepy piano for the Tron demo, I called it, right? So got rid of all that reverb. Let's try that. All right. Okay. So I think that's enough examples. Now, the nice thing with Sampletron is that there's a lot I can do to that sound. There's a lot I can do to shape it, and EQ and effects, all included in that app that are just awesome, incredible sounds. So we've got, as a choice, we've got the Sampletron piano, which is never going to sound like a real piano. It's it's like a tape-based sampler thing. Then we've got possibly the kalimba, which sounded surprisingly good. We've got the nice synthy sound from OBXD, and then we've got the toy piano sound, which was the best toy piano sound. All right, so help me out. Throw something in the chat and tell me what you guys think. Let me just get a handle on what we've got here. Right, so what I did, I forgot to mention earlier, it was I removed from the project some of the sounds that I sort of felt at this point that I'm probably not going to use. They can always come back, but just wanted to kind of just tidy things up a little bit. So I got rid of the real sounding piano, and I got rid of the organ, and that sound effect that I liked, the internal sound effect from Logic that wasn't pitched correctly, got rid of that. I hope to try Korg Volcas, the small, cheap, and sound immense. I would like to, actually. I would really like to try them. I actually thought I had the beginning of a relationship with Korg a couple of years ago. One of the other YouTubers recommended me to Korg and said, you should send some codes to Jamie and let him do some demos and stuff for you, because I'd done a few bits and pieces with Gadget that had gone down really, really well, and so they got in touch and said that they were going to send me some codes, and I needed to email this particular person, so I emailed this person a few times who never replied to me. So that was that. So no relationship with Korg as of yet. Right. I think, personally, for me, I think it's between these two sounds. So let's switch between them like this. Yeah, I'm so glad that you agree with me, because that's what I'm going with. That's the one that really sizzles my sausage. So, is Jade still here? Because I was just thinking it must be like immensely late where you are, Jade. I'm just trying to work out what time it is where you are. I always forget the what the difference is exactly. But right. So that being the case, right? As soon as I've decided on that one, I'm going to remove these ones from the project, because, it just, tidy door, tidy mind. Has anyone noticed, by the way, in the iOS Facebook groups, in a few of them, because I had that update to share about Cubasis the other day. Was it yesterday or the day before I did it? I think it was yesterday. But anyway, I shared the information that there was going to be a Cubasis update, and I can't tell you what's in it, and I can't tell you when it's coming, but it just wanted to let people know that it is coming, and Steinberg are on it. And so I posted this information in a few groups yesterday, which got quite the reaction. A lot of people were really excited about it. There's always a few miserable bastards who just have to have a whine about, about fuck all. But it got a great reaction. And then I posted again saying, okay, so what features do we want to see? And I'm going to pass this information on to Steinberg. Well, an overwhelming amount of responses. And a lot of common feature requests, actually. If you've not seen that, if you're on Facebook and you've not seen that, go check it out. It's quite fascinating. Because, for me, if Steinberg did successfully implement the most common things that people are asking for, then I probably wouldn't be using Logic Pro for iPad anymore. The reason that I would let it go, of course, is because it's subscription-based. I can't sort of just buy it and just keep it just in case I want to use it again. I'm not entirely negative about subscription apps at all, but that is one of the bummers about it. I mean, I own Nano Studio 2, and I haven't used it for a very, very long time, but I bought it, so it's there if I do want to use it one day, and I think that's a nice place to be. Okay, went a little off track, so let's just have a quick mix of this, and then we shall proceed with progressing. Okay, alright, I'm pretty happy with where this track is right now. Jade says, I'm listening and making a late dinner, almost midnight. Jade, I always get my dinner last thing at night before I go to bed. It's just the way of things when you're a musician. I either teach till late and then go in the house and get my dinner, or I gig till late and get home and get my dinner out of the microwave. It's... They say it's bad, to eat a big meal before you go to sleep, but it's never really been a problem for me. Right, so what I've done, you will see, is I've started my project at bar 12. Now, I didn't specifically choose 12 for a reason, but I never start at the beginning. I never start at bar 1 because that's a bad plot. I don't actually know where I want this to start in my project. I don't know if I want something to happen before this. I don't know. I'm just going to kind of keep coming up with ideas and build, and we'll just see where it goes. The reason it starts at 12 is because I'd got the metronome going, and I would just piss-panting around with the metronome, and that's the bar where I started playing it correctly-ish, nearly. Sort of. If you're considering joining the iOS, ecosystem, DJ, there's an awful lot going for it. There's a lot that's good about it. There are subscription deals on a few things at the moment. Logic Pro for iPad being one of them, of course. But Mostly it isn't about subs at the moment. A lot of people suspect that if Steinberg replaced Cubasis 3 rather than updating it, or they may very well update it but also bring a new version to the platform at some point, that it will be sub based. I don't know, I can't comment about that. I would hope not. Because one of the main reasons why there are a lot of people that have stuck with Cubasis 3 rather than moving to Logic Pro for iPad is purely because they are people that just don't want to be involved with paying subscriptions. So I think, personally, it would be a mistake. Now, I need something to follow this. Now, I think that when we get to this, let me take the loop off. When we get to this point here, exactly, yes. If a company cancels their service, you've lost everything. Yeah, it's true. Now, obviously, when your subscription is with somebody like Apple, you probably don't need to worry about that. But there again, there are things on iOS. I've got to be honest. There are things on iOS that people have paid good money for that have then disappeared, and it's usually been because a developer simply cannot afford to put the time into the platform anymore because there's this kind of culture with iOS that the apps are not supposed to be very expensive, and the musicians get very upset if they cost very much, even if they're absolutely well worth it. Most of the more expensive software on iOS is actually far cheaper than it should be. People look at the price of something like Sampletron, which I'm using in this project. Think, Christ, that's expensive. Well, it's not really. If you think about it like a sensible person, it's actually dead cheap for what it is. It's just the way that the culture has gone. So sometimes we've lost really, really good quality developers for that reason. They can't afford to put the time into it anymore. But it's growing. It's getting bigger and bigger. And I believe that in time it will be. I'm not going to say a replacement for desktop stuff, but just as valid as. I mean, my tracks that I release, a lot more of them are done on iOS than desktop. Now, if I was going to get better quality by using the desktop, I'd be using that for everything. Right, now, being as we've gone the synthy route, I'm thinking here, right, where this drop happens, we're going to have some kind of a gap there, some kind of like suspenseful gap, maybe like a full bar, and then something's going to kick in. And when it kicks in, it's going to be different. It's not going to be that again, because you'll have noticed that with my stuff, I don't stay with like a riff or a progression for too long. I like to kick in something else and then, come back later. Like a cheeky pop song. I've got this idea actually. I'd got this idea that this section could maybe gradually speed up. But I'm going to look at that stuff when I've got more in my arrangement and I've got a clearer idea of where things are going to be and what's going to happen. So I think what I need is a gap here, and then we're going to need some fresh chords coming in. And so I think what I'm going to do is open one of my favourite, so possibly my favourite synth, and use a very 80s sound. So am I going to keep these? I'll keep these here for now. Okay. Right, so I want another MIDI track. And Logic Pro at the moment in this project is stuck in every time I add because I like to add a MIDI track with no instrument in it and then go and choose something. And at the moment, Logic Pro is stuck in this loop of every time I add a MIDI track, it adds the Hammond from IK Multimedia, which doesn't actually work in Logic Pro for iPad, which is very sad. I've messaged them about it. It just, for me anyway, it just crashes every time I try and open it. Hey Kiara. Jade says more apps have vanished on the App Store that were paid than subscription. I'm not sticking up for subscription, just making the point. It's interesting. There is that argument, of course, that subscription models do support the developer better for continued support of the software. You know, it's a very valid point. Right, so I'm opening up Tal because I do love a Juno sound. Pull the volume back to be on the safe side to begin with. Right, now, I'm just going to find a sound that I can work with. Doesn't have to be the sound. Let's just find a cool sound. What's that one? Yeah, that's not the one I was looking for. I say that a lot. When I say that, I want to be able to press a button and have some kind of, Obi-Wan meme pop up. Maybe just grab the strings for now. Right. Just use that to put some chords in, because the chords are everything. Now, I've got an idea of chords. So, now then, go to this view so you can see my hands. Now, when I was doing the first stream on the subject of horror, and I was talking about the theory of horror and everything, I used some example chord progressions, and I really liked one of them, and I think it would work with this piece. I'm just going to open up my notes here, just jog my memory. Right, okay. I'm just going to have a little play with that, see if I can get something that sounds good. So, this progression, I had a C minor. Just bring that volume down a little bit more. I had a C minor, and then I did that tritone shift thing. So it went to an F sharp minor. I dropped back to an F minor 6. And then the E minor major 7. Okay, some scary sounding chords. What I'd like to do is play those in with this sound and then just see if they make any sense. I'm going to augment a couple of the chords. So let's see if we can make the C minor a minor 9. What would that sound like? A minor 9. Yes. So that would be... Oh, it's dark, right? And then F sharp, we'll make that a diminished. So that was there. So hang on. So that'd be that. Okay, so we've got this. This is how really, really good keyboard players play chords. No, just like that, right? Okay, let's try that one again. Okay, so that's there. And then... Oh, why can't I play that? Oh, no, that was right. That was right, okay. Right, and once more. Alright, now that is a dastardly chord progression. It may be too challenging, it may just be too nasty, but you know what? I'm going to give it a try. Now, there's no way I'm going to play this in live and get it right, I'm sure. I'm sure that's not going to happen, but I guess it'd be a good bit of comedy. So, Jamie's comedy keyboard playing. So if I go... Oh, now then, hang on a minute. What time signature? Am I going to stay in 13/8? Because 13/8... I don't know, I might want to change it up here, actually. But I don't want it to go 4/4. Let's try 5/4 for the giggle. So now then, how do I do this? This is something I've not done a lot of in Logic Pro, I have to say. So let's see, I'll put this over here because we want a gap of a bar there. And I'm going to add time signature right there. I think this is how you do it. My mouse doesn't want to play though, so I'll do this. Right, so we're going 55. What's going on? Let's use this wheel. And then 5, 4. Right, yeah, that seems to be changing to 5/4 in the right place. Now that's going to make it go a lot faster, I think. Let's have a listen to that with the metronome. That's not as fast as I was expecting. Let's see what happens to the metronome if I play from back here. We'll probably speed up the tempo right there. Okay, but I can do that later. And it'll be easy to put the chords in slowly, right? Hey, Ed. Ed, thanks for joining us. Dude. All the best people are here. Like I said yesterday, all the best people join my live streams. It's like an elite club. It's a very select. It's like in Spinal Tap, you know. It's not that they've lost popularity or anything. It's just, you know, their audience has become more selective. Okay, so now I'm going to need to concentrate. So C minor. What's a C minor 9? I've forgotten. So that's going to be this. Do you like my keyboard playing camera? I might put these in one at a time. I never said I was good at this. Yeah. Okay, that's what's going to happen. All right, let's... Did I press record? Oh, I did press record. I thought I'd not pressed record. All right, so that's there then. All right, we've got that chord. All right, so my next chord was... I was going to make it an F sharp diminished. So that would be yeah, that is right. That is right. And it's not a 4-note chord. Let's add a because the chord before it's a 4-note. Have you noticed that when you're holding down like a pad sound, if you use a 4-note chord somewhere, and then the next one's a 3, it's like it loses some weight. I don't lose any weight, so we'll add a 7 to the chord. So let's see, it's that one, that one. Yeah, okay, let's do that. I totally forgot that it was 5/4. Right. Okay, these are going to be scrappy. We're going to tidy them up in a minute. So my next chord is an F minor with a flat 6. Okay. That's a challenging chord. And then we've got an E minor major 7. Okay, right, now let's sort out this. Let's sort out this dreadful, dreadful keyboard playing. Dear. My mum was a great keyboard player. She played piano and organ, and I wish I'd listened when she tried to show me. I mean, I did a bit, obviously. I picked a bit up, but quite clearly not a lot, I learned quite a lot about music, and I was put together from that, but not about actually playing the keys. I just wasn't that interested. It was, keyboard seemed very unsexy to me at the time. Right, let's go in and sort this MIDI out. And see if we can make a decent progression out of this. Now, it's 5/4, so is there a... Okay. Is there any point trying to quantize this, I wonder? Quantize... well, that didn't work particularly well. Let's undo that. I'm going to go select all, and maybe we can quantize to half note. That might be better. Yeah, it's still not good, but let's just work from there. Didn't I join this MIDI together? I thought that I did. Okay, bear with me a moment. I'm just going to figure this out. Right, now there was that trick that Sam taught me yesterday. Select all, because I want every note in this chord progression. I want every note to be the same length. All of them should be a bar long. So if I go to here and go to length, now what did Sam say to type? Right, so if that was a... right, okay. So we'll make that... Okay. Why is that not right? Let's try that again. They're all still selected. Okay. So if that's... I'm not sure how this works. There, that looks right. Okay. Now I've got some notes here that I could... if I can show you what I mean. Like say this note, right? This note I could delete, and I could grab this note and I could make it last till the end of this bar, because if I was playing a pad on the keys, if there's a common note from the chord I'm playing into the next one, then I probably just keep that one held down and just move the fingers that need to be moved. Having difficulty speaking. So I think I'm going to do that because well, that's how I would play it if I was capable of playing these chords well, which clearly I am not. I have to stick my finger in. My mouse is objecting. Right. Now I wonder if maybe I'm going to leave it like that for now. I'm not going to piss pants around too much. Right, so let's just tidy this. Okay. And let's just have a listen to this progression from here. Right, now these sound suitably nasty, but what's happening for me is after the first chord, there's too much of a jump in frequency range. It really just kind of leaps to that next chord. I don't really want that. So we'll make this an inversion, I think. If I put these two notes up an octave. Oh, that's going to make that one. Yeah, of course, because that one is a 9. It's going to make it a bit nasty, that. That's better. Right, now that's the kind of unpleasant kind of a chord progression that we're looking for. It's nasty. Now, maybe just kind of grab a different sound. I'm just going to little pissy pants around. I like that sound. There's a lot of movement in it though, and I was thinking of an ARP with this. Alright, maybe something like that. I'm not entirely sure at the moment, so I'm not going to spend ages looking for a sound. Just looking for something kind of in the right ballpark. So, now I want an ARP over this. I want to hear what an ARP might sound like over this. And I'm thinking that what I'll do is I'll keep that sound going from OB, the OB sound. I'm thinking of keeping that going using these chords, using arpeggiator. Now I might have to automate the arpeggiator, or maybe I'll come up with my own app. I don't know. Let's try. It keeps a consistent sound going from the other section, which is always good. We want new sounds, but we want some consistent sounds. So this one we need to put an ARP on there. Now, arpeggiator. The one in Logic Pro is pretty good. Let's try that. So I want a MIDI effect, arpeggiator. Hang on a minute, right? So the arpeggiator, how do I, because this is not all in the scale, how do I tell the arpeggiator what scale to play in? If it's just chromatic, does that mean it will just respond to notes that are in the chord? I can't do any scale selecting. See, this is what I was talking about when I was talking about when you're trying to make this kind of music, you can't really rely on scale, scalar type apps. How would that work? I think we should just do it and see if it does. That's what we'll do. was thinking of bringing the tempo up at this point, wasn't I? So that could drastically affect what's happening with my harp here. Never mind. Let's just continue to arse around with this a little. Wow. I just changed the order. Right, so you can change the order that the harp goes in. And outside in sounded immense. This is up and down. That's just too thin. Random works pretty good. Okay, so now that Juno sound doesn't work at all. So I am going to change that now. Well, I really am having problems finding an appropriate sound, which I really didn't think I would do with this synth. Yeah, I'm just not. I'm not finding that. I want to come back to that. I think I don't spend too much time on that. Maybe just switch it back to the sound I had before because that was a bit more suitable, I think. My feeling to this is, Media Web Records, hi. Hi, thanks for being here. The last two chords are not round to the others. What do you mean not round? I'm not sure what you mean by that. What I think about it is that I've come up with 4 very, very challenging sounds. 4 very challenging chords, which are supposed to sound really nasty together because it's a horror soundtrack. At this point, nothing's set in stone, but I'm going to sort of work with them and see what we can make of them. Now, what's happened is because I've shifted the intervals around within the chords, to try, because I wanted the frequencies in those chords to be much closer together, so that you could hear the movement in the arp more. This has meant that the bass, it's not clear what's the bass note. So I'm going to add in the bass note by doing this. I'm going to keep the Model D, I think. We'll see. So I'm going to grab this MIDI here, duplicate it up here, and first thing we'll do is just find that bass note. So let's see now. The first chord is a C. So I'm going to just delete off the other notes. And then my next one was the F sharp. And F comes after that, I believe. And then it's an E. Now, at this point in the track, I might want the bass line to pump, so that's a consideration. But first of all, let's just get the right notes in the bass. So, how low a sound will this be? Not low enough. Or maybe it is. Right, okay. We've got something started. Let's have a think about tempo. We're coming from this in 13/8, a gap of a bar for some suspense, some kind of sound effect or something, who knows what yet. And then we've got this new part that comes in 5/4. What are we going to do about tempo here? That gap is far too long. Because that section before is 13/8, what I should have done is, let's just go to time signature. What I should have done is change the time signature up at the where the gap is going to be. So I'm going to move this to here. And that's messed everything up. Why is that not moved? Why would the MIDI not move with it? It appears to still all be in line and be alright. Okay, let's just try that last little experiment again and see how we feel about that. Right, okay. I've got ideas of maybe that 13/8 section gradually speeding up. But let's see what would happen if right here, where that gap kicks in, we change the tempo. The tempo is 71 right now. Oh, I'm just clicking like a madman. So that, let's just zoom right in there. Right. I'm going to do this with my finger because it's so difficult to do with the mouse, I find. Okay, I've got my pencil on. Let's go to the beginning of the track and just set. Oh, that is set. Let me just check what it is. Right, that's at 71 BPM there. That's excellent. Okay, now I need another node here. There we go. Take pencil off. At 71 BPM. Right, now we're going to bring it up. What's going on there? You know, I've heard so many people say, oh, the automation is so much better than in Cubase's 3. I don't think it is. I don't think it's easier to put it in like this. Um, it's it's very, very fiddly in Cubasis 3. I find it just as fiddly in here. Right, so that's going to be, let's bring it up more drastically to like 90 beats, but I have no idea what it's going to sound like. Let's just experiment with it. Right, so we'll take it back a little so we can hear the effect. I don't know. I think that might be a bit too quick. It might be a bit too quick. But I want some kind of drum thing going on here when this section kicks in. I want that because I really want that 5/4 to be clear. I want it to be clear that it's kind of really off kilter. And Gerald makes a really good point. Instead of using Tal for that sound there, why not use the beat hook choir? It's a very, very sensible suggestion because that synth is not really working. I wanted to bring a new sound in, but I'm bringing drums in there. That's the plan anyway. So maybe you're right. Maybe we just stick with the choir. I've got some kind of click going on from Sampletron there. Is that a CPU thing? Is the automation snapping to bars or whatnot? You can set it freestyle. Yeah, it is. I want it snapped to bar just there. I want it to change it exactly that moment because I'm kind of feeling that this gap here is too long. So I thought if I do my tempo change right from there, it will it will seem not as long. You see what I mean? From here. That said, of course, there is going to be something happening in that gap which may very well take care of that spatial issue. We shall see. Right, drums wise, what do I want here? I want something percussive in here. We talked about the way you can create a sort of a heartbeat kind of a sound with a kind of a muffled kick drum. I'm not sure about that. Maybe something a little bit more... not specifically like drum kit sounding as such. I also want to bring in the thingy. I want to use lines. I want to use that for atmospherics, and I'm thinking actually of combining lines and speakers to create like an atmospheric thing. But I was going to do that early on in the creation of this piece, but then I thought, you know what, I'm going to get some of the chunks of the music down first, and then I'll create the atmospherics around it to suit. So I like the remote for my desktop Logic. So clever. The remote, is that like the iPad remote way of controlling the desktop with the iPad screen? So you mean I don't have desktop? I don't have Logic on desktop, so I'm just guessing what you mean. All right, so it definitely sounds better with the choirs back in there. There's an issue with Sampletron. It's making a bit of a clicking sound when the chord changes sometimes, not every time. I'm going to leave that for now. I can figure that out later. That's not an issue. Let's get more of an idea of what's going to go on. Maybe I should add drums at this point. Right, okay, let's listen to where we are with the project while I have a ponder. Okay, it's got a long way to go, but there's definitely potential in what I have so far. So let's have a look at. I'm gonna sack the Juno off for now. Maybe I just added the Juno because I love the sound of the Juno. I didn't get anything out of it that was helpful really to my project. So let's just replace that. We'll go and find a drum thing. Thank you very much, Kiana. Thank you. And thank you for the little pumpkin face guy. I didn't know you could do that. Right, now, drums. What are we going to use? I've been using Drum 80 on more or less everything for ages because I just love that sound, but maybe that they might actually work in this, because we're going with the 80s sounds. I really aren't sure I really want to put some drums in now, but I'm really not sure what sound to go for. Anyone in the chat got any thoughts? Feel free to throw ideas at me. Or maybe we'll go with something a little bit stranger. I just had a thought, actually. I just had a thought about something else. this bass here. Okay, this bass is just holding a note for a bar. So if I go... And my controller keyboard doesn't seem to be playing it. Why is that? Let's have a look what's going on here. Ah, it's mapped to my Sonido pad. There we go. Arrow keys. Right. I wonder what the hell was going on there. Right. Now. Cowbell. Cowbell or tacos? Thank you, people. Okay, so I'm just thinking about this bass sound, right? So it's a great sound in the beginning where I want a sustained bass note. That kind of sound. Slammer. I don't have slammer. Right, but then if we want it to pump, how is that going to work? It might be alright. Oh, really low it might work. Okay, let's try something. So we're going here into this bass. Into this bass part, right? Now, how low is that now? Okay, maybe we want to bring all these notes down anyway. Let's experiment with... Now then, when we're in 5/4, how does this work? If I go... Right, so okay, so if I go snap to like a quarter note, they're going to be... There's going to be 5 quarter notes. That's a brain twister. Alright. Now if I go like... Where's that done now? What's that about? I've got double notage. What's going on there? Oh, why are these notes doubled? What's going on? Didn't that happen to you yesterday, Keon? Why the hell is that? Okay, so what would it sound like if I went... like this? Right, it's just sustaining. It's just sounding like a sustained note. So if I go to 8 notes, select all these, make them half as long, what I might need to do, of course, is just to change the bass sound at this point, but yeah, I just wondered if I could make this sound work for what we're doing. Or what if it was double that? What if it was double that? You know where this is going. I don't know where this is going. I don't. I hope you're not. I hope you're not making references to farty sounds again. I'm just wondering about double the notage. Like, yeah. Copy those ones like that. Then, maybe what I need to do is take the snap off altogether. Select all the notes. Make them all a little shorter. I don't think that sound's going to work. Right, bear with me. I have an idea. Okay, I like that. I like that. Now, um, what I've done is I've just I'll show you. I'll show you because I got lost in that a little bit there. I brought down the cutoff frequency right here in this Moog bass sound because I mean I love those filtery kind of sounds, but I've kind of felt that maybe this bass just wanted to really kind of punch, but be dark and not be taking up any of those higher range frequencies for now, at least. We can always change that later. Now, I think that works really, really well, and I'm really happy with that. And so now I'm going to go and do something positive with the drums because let's be real about it. I don't really know exactly what I want, and I really don't know what sound I want, but I do know that I want some drums. So I'm just going to start doing some drums, and it doesn't matter if I use the wrong thing. So instead of thinking about it, we'll just do it. We'll go and grab. We're going to grab, not that at all. I can't do menu selection type things and talk. That's my problem, right? So I'm going to go and I'm going to grab one of my favorite drum kit sounds. I really, really love the sound of the Lindrum. And I think that the Lindrum sounds in Hammerhead are just really, really good. So, Brambos, Hammerhead. If you don't have this app, it's basically the sounds. I mean, the great thing about Hammerhead is it's a fantastic interface for jamming, just throwing ideas, just throwing things into the, just throwing things into the thingy here, into the sequencer. You can do it really, really quick. You can work really, really fast with it, and just keep pressing and adjusting, and just come up with things in a very sort of experimental jam kind of a way. It's awesome in that way. Perhaps not quite so much when you're using it inside of a DAW, where you probably got more of a sort of a purposeful approach. But when you're working in something like AUM, it's amazing. And the sounds in it are basically a collection of classic drum machine sounds. But I really like to just go here to templates and select Lin and get my Lindrum sounds. So I will have a kick, snare, clap, tambourine, hi-hat, cowbell, tom and a conga. Probably won't want some of those sounds, but I enjoy working with them. So 808 kick for everything. The problem with 808 kicks for me, and I like that 808 thing. I like that sound. Being a bass player, it doesn't blend very well with bass guitar. So it's something I've struggled with a lot. I have made it work a couple of times actually. So, and I've got a track coming. I've got a half-finished track where I'm using some. There's not exactly 808 bass, but you'd like it. It's along those lines, and there's electric bass guitar in there, and it works. I really have to finish that track so you can hear what I mean. Right, so now if I map to this track, my Sonido pad. Okay. We don't want to be on that mode anyway. We want to be on this mode. Let's have this on. Okay. Right. And it's like totally not working, man. Because Probably because of some mapping type situation. So if I go, let's see. Let's go to my next bank of pads. Okay. They're all in weird places. Right. Got a cowbell and a clap and a kick. And my hi-hat there. Okay. I'm really kind of confused as to why they'd be in those places, but, you know, whatever. We'll work with it. We'll work with it. The main thing for now is the kick, and I'm going to use a kick and a snare. So my kick is there. My snare is there. Right. I just want to outline what's going on here. God, that's odd. The metronome doesn't seem to be helping me. I'm going to switch that off. Maybe I can get my timing from the arpeggio. There's something wrong there. There's definitely something wrong there. I'm not hearing it if there is. It sounded alright that time. Okay. Alright, see you later, Mateus. Have a fantastic day, young man. Have a fantastic day. Everybody say goodbye to Mateus. He's an absolutely awesome dude. Right, I'm just going to outline it like this so I can start to get some idea of what I'm going to place where in the bar. Yeah, there is something wrong. There's something terribly wrong. It's my playing. But that should be a quick fix. So now then, we've got snap to, so we've got like 4, 5, we've got 5 kind of notages to a bar. If we went snapped quarter notes, yeah, okay. And if I was to go here with the select all and go quantize to quarter note, I think that would do the job. That seems to be right. Right, so we've got kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, just to outline where things are in the bar so I can come up with some kind of drum idea, you know, that works, man. Right, so now that that's in time, let's have a listen. Yeah, see, I heard something wrong there again. I'm wondering if it's the arpeggiator occasionally doesn't quite, it's not quite catching it right. Which does sometimes happen with arps. Just see if there's something wrong with the timing on the MIDI here or something, if something's overlapping or... I'm not seeing anything at all. Have we got any double notes or anything like that? No. No duplicate notes. Keep it. Alright, sometimes it's alright. Who knows? I'll keep an eye on that. Okay, so what am I going to do drums wise then? I've got something in place. I can sort of, now I've got that in place, I can sort of hear where things are in the bar, where things are supposed to sit. Right, now in this kit, I've... It's like that harp is clumsy every now and again, not every time. I don't know what to do about that other than what I often end up doing is not using arpeggiators at all, and I'll end up working out what the arpeggiator is doing more or less, and then I'll play it in myself so that I can make little human adjustments to things. So I might end up doing that anyway. We'll see. I kind of had a... I'm not sure about the snare sound. I'm not sure about any of these sounds at the moment. I kind of thought it might be nice to get a couple of these toms in, maybe towards the end of the bar, each time around. Right. Where is the... tom on the keyboard. Ah, there. Okay. Now if I go like this, then change snap to there. Why does it lag in that particular place? Why is the up lagging right there? I can't see anything wrong with the MIDI that would seem to explain why it should cause it to do that. Could it be anything to do with these notes being like sustained through the two chords? Why would it? There's a double note there. Why? Okay, that could explain it. Yeah, we've got some duplicate notes going on here. I really don't know why. Okay, none there now. None there now. I think I already checked this chord. Yeah, I already checked that chord. Okay, let's try it now. Right, okay. God knows. God knows why that happened. Okay, so what about if we add some hats? I think you actually suggested that, didn't you? Yeah, you did. I'm not sure about these toms here. I'm wondering actually whether I just need the second one of them. And then we'll look at adding some hats. That's really, really hard to do. I could set the pad up to do it automatically for me, but I might as well just do it with MIDI. I'm just wondering what 16 notes would sound like in the track. I think what I might do is add that and then just have a listen back to the track and then call it a day for today. So let's just find where that is. Right, it's right there on the keyboard. What I need to do actually is I need to set up a color scheme for Hammerhead on my tempo pad so I can see what's where. It only takes a couple of minutes to do it. It's not difficult. And the software works on the iPad. Now, if I use my brush tool, will that work? Oh, it looks like it's working. That arp's really lost it now. When the first bar kicks in, it does something that I really, really like, and it seems to do that one the same way every time, and I really, really like that arp. So what I might do is work out what it's making it play there, and then just put that in myself, and then do the same thing for the rest of the chords. I think that might be the way to go with that. But for now, I expected that. What about a tambourine half time? Yes. You mean half the speed of the... Right. Let me just do what I was doing with the hat first, because the hat I expected to sound twice as quick, actually. So I'm gonna, I've got snapped to 8th that one, like a total pleb. Well, that was a good sound. there's a horror movie soundtrack sound for you. Right, let's delete that. Right, then I'm gonna go here and try painting that in like the way I wanted it. Oh yeah, I have to press paint. Not bad. There. There, that's what I wanted. Right, now we've got an arpeggio going on, we've got a bass part going on, we've got a drum part going on with the hi-hat that's so we've got 8s from the bass, although it's 10 because it's 5/4, and we've got 16s from the hats, but it's 20 because it's 5/4, and that's some complicated maths. And then the arp, fuck knows what that is, right? So I'm just gonna do a little bit of soloing and listening to things, just little combinations of things. First thing I need to do is turn that hi-hat down. Now I think this could actually work if I can make that tom sound really massive and scary. Okay, so other than the fact that arpeggio is screwing up every now and again, which is something I'm not going to get stuck into fixing now, because that could be a very boring thing to watch, and I'm going to finish the stream in a few minutes, so I'll try and fix that up in my own time. Before I go, I'll tell you when I'm thinking about streaming again, but before I do that, I'm going to do the thing that has now gone out of my mind because I got sidetracked. What was I going to say? Oh, yes. Right, so Gerald's idea of the half-time tambourine. A tambourine on the bass drum. Tambourine on the bass drum. Rather than over the snare. Interesting. Okay. I wouldn't have thought of that. Let's try it. If I can find the damn thing. Ah, there we are. That's where they've hidden the tambourine. Right, so that would be, let's see. No. I like that. I like that idea. I think it exaggerates the off-kilterness of it. Now, is it going to do the same thing as the kick drum all the way through, though? For now, maybe yes it is. And we'll see how it works. Right. So, all I need to do then to make that happen is to come down to the kick drum. And we'll copy that. To there. Switch off copy. That all looks okay. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let this play, and I'm going to go to Hammerhead, and I'm going to mix the drums in the internal mixer in Hammerhead. So they'll all be wrong for a moment. I just wanted to turn them up on the fader so that I can mix them inside of Hammerhead. Okay, that's too much. Apologies for that. We'll come right down here. Right. Okay. That's just something a bit more appropriate. Just rough, just to listen to. Now, before I go, I want to have a listen through what we have so far. So I'm going to take that off for the moment. Now what I'm going to have to do is switch the arpeggiator off and then switch it on when we get to the section where we need it, even though it's screwing up at the moment. Right, let's have a listen. Okay, right. Promising. Promising. There's some good stuff in there. I think I've got some good stuff that I can build a great track. There's some problems at the moment. There are some issues. At the moment, I mean, this is kind of how I work. I've spent more time on this project trying to get sounds that are something like appropriate than I normally would do. I normally really do can concentrate more on getting the melodies and chords and and throwing a ton of ideas in there. I just feel like it's a bit more important with this track to get blends of appropriate sounds. I'm glad you think the percussion works well, Keon, right? Because I was surprised. I was a bit, am I really going to put a drum machine in there? Is that really going to work? But then I'm looking at 80s sounds, right? I'm looking at 80s sounds, so yeah, maybe, yeah. Maybe I'm going to focus purely on 80s sounds. Maybe I'm going to actually lose Sampletron altogether. Although I do think that choir sounds awesome. So I don't know. But let me just show you something. Apologies, I've vanished for a moment there. I just had to sneeze violently. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I just want to show you this arpeggio here. If I solo this. See, when that's soloed, most of the time it doesn't screw up. It works really, really well. So I think it might just be, it might just be that it's like a CPU issue. So, but I think, you know what? I think if I, because I mean, I've got this. It's going to be an issue. I'm going to have to set up some automation to make the arpeggiator switch on for this bit. So I think I might as well, instead of doing that, I might as well just work out what it is about that arp that I really, really like, and I'll play it in myself. That's what I'll do. And then we can do away with that problem. That will sort it out. If I'm going to get rid of the Sampletron choir, I need to find another choir that sounds appropriate. We'll see. I mean, even though I'm kind of focusing on 80s sounds, they don't all have to be 80s sounds, you know. Maybe freeze the ARP to real audio. Yeah, I'm reluctant to freeze anything too soon, just purely because, you know, I might want to piss pants around with the sound a little bit. But then again, it's easy enough to go back. It's just annoying while you're working when it keeps screwing up, you know. It's distracting. I need to relabel some of these things now and just, you know, just so I know what I'm looking at when I'm scrolling around the project. It's no longer toy piano and everything, but I can do that in my own time. So I'm happy with where I'm at. But there's I think when I sorted the ARP out, I'll be a lot happier. All right, okay, so it's promising. There's still a lot to do. Need to get some atmospheric sounds in there. Yes. What was it? Gerald was saying stick some reverb on that tambourine, very atmospheric. Yeah, I think that will be. You know, I think that will work really, really well. I was dubious when you said tambourine, but you know, now it's in there. I'm digging that. However, that's it's in Hammerhead, right? Now, Hammerhead has got multi-bus out, so I will be able to use the multiple outs in Logic Pro for iPad, I believe, which is a bit of a pain in the ass to set up, but I'm sure I'll be able to do that. And then I'll be able to set up some effects and stuff to make those drums sound a lot cooler, and I'll get some reverb on that tambourine. For the moment, it would be a little bit difficult to do. I'll just show you. If I go here and open Hammerhead, right, you'll see it's got its own mixer, but of course that's all going out on one instrument bus at the moment. So I'm not going to bother adding reverb as it is at the moment. I'll set up the multi-bus out version, and then we'll be able to get individual effects on them. And like I was thinking, that tom sound that I'm using, I'm just wanting that on the last, right, so it's 5/4, so it's not on the 5, it's on the 5.5. There's that tom sound, and I'm wanting this massive, massive, thunderous tom sound there. I think that will really help to make that 5/4 sound very, very strange and off kilter. So, anyway, those are my thoughts at this point. So, I'd like to thank you all very, very much for joining me today. It was productive and enjoyable. It's just lovely to do this with friends present. It's great. Now, what I'm planning is tomorrow, because I'm working tonight. Tomorrow, I will get up. I'll take my kid to school. I'll come in here. I'll organise my lessons and stuff for the week, and then I'll do a Patreon only live stream where I will be mixing and chatting. You know, just progressing another track that I'm working on in Cubasis 3, and Talking Bollocks. That's a cyber metal style track with some slap bass and some dirty metal guitars and some great synths and awesome stuff. And I'll be doing that. Also, my patrons have asked me for one needs some help with some lead guitar work. I'm going to do a little video about how to practice bends, how to use bends and stuff like that in a lead guitar solo. And Grant wanted to know about tapping on bass guitar. I'm going to do a little video about that for patrons only and upload that. And also do the Patreon stream tomorrow. So yeah, I'm already busy for tomorrow. So then Tuesday night, I'm going to do another stream where I'm progressing this track, working on the horror thing again. I could potentially maybe do a stream Sunday. It is Sunday. Tuesday lunchtime as well. I'm not so sure about that, but after I finish this stream, I'll be scheduling. It's a difficult word to say. The Patreon stream and the Tuesday night horror movie soundtrack stream. So I'm going to bugger off for now. I'm going to play you out with this track. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Make lots of music. Look after each other. And try not to piss pants about. See you later. You see there, the almighty fuck up. I didn't switch off the ARP. I didn't switch off the arpeggiator. Let's just try that again, shall we? Anyway, take care of yourselves, be wonderful people, make lots of music, and try not to piss pants about. Take 2.